If I were to ask you to name all of the 2D platformer heroes of the 16-bit era, I suspect you would come up with names like Mario, Sonic, Bubsy, and depending on how adventurous you were in the 1990s, maybe even Sparkster and Capt'n Havoc. In fact, you could probably name dozens of these characters before even coming close to the mascot hero that we're going to talk about today. And that's Wild Woody. With a name guaranteed to make you picture an erection, this pencil protagonist was developed, published, and then quickly forgotten about by Sega. But we're not gonna forget about this 16-bit oddity. So turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're gonna spoil the story and ending for Wild Woody on the Sega CD. This is Game Over, the early years. I don't think it's a hot take to say that Wild Woody is not one of Sega's best characters. It wasn't well received when it came out in 1995, and hasn't gained a cult following in the last quarter century. When Electronic Gaming Monthly reviewed it, they called it nothing special, and said that the one redeeming quality was the original and strange soundtrack. So, if it was bad then, and barely remembered now, then why even devote a full episode to Wild Woody? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because a whole lot of work went into the game's cinemas, and I'm here to tell you that it's one of Sega's most memorable endings. It also has a pretty cool beginning. Here's how the game sets up the story and introduces us to Wild Woody.
Oh, man, it's good to be home.
Hello. You have 3 new messages.
Hey, Dusty! Hey, just wanted to thank you again for pulling us out of that Aztec tomb! Hey, listen, that guy that had his spear on my shorts almost got me! You saved our skins, pal! Take care!
Dusty, this is Nigel in Sumatra! I've been trying to get a hold of you all day long! Cracker 2 is about to blow again! We need you here pronto, mate! The chopper should be there any minute! Hurry!
Oh, beautiful. There's no rest for the weary.
Yeah, Dusty, this is Sandra over at Anthro. I just translated the tablets describing that totem you picked up. Now get this. If the spirits of the totem are freed, each one creates a parallel universe that could devour the world. Your standard chaos, doom, end of the world story. Lucky for us, though, its power can only be released on the 3rd Wednesday in July under a full moon during a snowfall. This stuff kills me. Anyway, that's all for now. Oh, and don't forget the charity ball next week. Bye.
Whoa! Oh, my aching back. Looks like those jerks are loose again. Now I gotta find me some muscle to bring them back. Not much to work with here. Say, now that one's got potential. Wake up, pal! You and me got work to do. Whoa, big fella! You got a name, leadhead?
Call me Woody.
Wild Woody!
Golly, I know my name, but it seems that's all I know.
Wait, let me explain. I'm Lowman of the Totem Pole. My fathead totem brothers have escaped my control, and I brought you to life to go and round them up. If you don't get them back, they'll wipe out everything. So, what do you think? Think you can save the world?
My good man, as of 15 seconds ago, I was born to save the world. Where do I start?
Squidlips went into that pirate book. Jump in after him and look for sketches in there. Any sketch you draw will come to life. Now go!
See you in a jet, little boy. It's time to start sketching! Yahoo!
Alright, so it's important to remember that Wild Woody came out in 1995, which was only 1 year after Jim Carrey became a household name with Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. This seems to be the inspiration for our protagonist, who is either funny or obnoxious, depending on what kind of comedy you like. Personally, I find him obnoxious, but the setup is solid enough. It seems like the spirits have been unleashed from an ancient artifact picked up by an Indiana Jones-style adventurer named Dusty. Because it's the right day and time, the totem statue breaks into several pieces and escapes into alternate worlds, all of which are apparently going to bring on the destruction of the universe. Thankfully, the totem is able to use magic to bring Wild Woody to life, whose only job seems to be to pick up those totem pieces and bring them back so that civilization as we know it can be saved. His first quest is to retrieve squid lips from the pirate ship, which eventually takes him underwater in order to fight a rapping skeleton. This ends up being our first taste of the game's unusual soundtrack, which mixes humor with 1990s music. This particular boss has a theme that sounds a whole lot like something that maybe the Beastie Boys would have come up with. Of course, I can't play any of it due to YouTube's copyright stuff, but you should definitely go and look up the songs and listen to them for yourself. In any case, we defeat the skeleton and grab squid lips, which results in this short cinema.
Woody, you made it back!
Yeah, and while I was out, they got me some sushi. Assume the position, fish boy!
And who are you calling fish boy, matey? I've been shanghaied by a darn splinter!
All right, my creative juices are flowing now. Who's next?
Brimstone. He blasted into that picture. It used to be a Greek painting. Now you're looking at Olympus, home of the gods.
Tar! Think you're tough enough to battle the gods, ye swabs?
They won't know what hit them.
Our next stop is a Greek painting, which I think we can all agree is a location rife with possibilities. I mean, just ask Kratos. Sadly, Sega decided to turn this potentially awesome stage into a frustrating maze with a whole bunch of dead ends. Things do get a little bit better in the second half of the stage when we're finally given the opportunity to climb Mount Olympus. This is more colorful and vertical, which is a welcome relief after being stuck indoors with Medusa. All this leads to a fight with Zeus, where the goal is to erase the red dot on his forehead. Oh, before I forget, it's probably worth mentioning that using the eraser is Wild Woody's most powerful attack, so it only makes sense to use it against this statue. Wait, does that make any sense? You know what? I'm just not gonna think about it too much, because we beat Zeus, and here's the cinema we get for our trouble.
You got Brimstone!
Look upon what used to be my mighty empire. It's completely ruined.
Hope you got insurance, Brimmy. Looks like a total loss. Who's next on the hit parade?
Lug nuts. Look at that blueprint.
Well, this looks like a job for Woody. Wild Woody!
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, going from Mount Olympus to some random factory is a real big step down. It's a little bit like following up Coming to America with, well, Coming to America. Topical references aside, this is a maze full of floating platforms, killer vacuums, and acid pits. This is followed by a slightly different colored factory filled with floating platforms, killer vacuums, and yeah, acid pits. Guys, I don't think they put a whole lot of effort into this world. Thankfully, the boss looks pretty cool. It's a robot with a Genesis controller, which would probably be a biting commentary on the average game player if this was in a better game. Once again, we erase the boss and grab the next part of the totem. Here's the next cinema.
Woody, you got lug nuts!
No need to get personal.
Orbit ran off into that book.
What's that? No problem for me, Bob.
You were saying, lead fool?
My, oh my. Time to earn my pay! Oh, that was close. What? Whoa!
Go get him, leadhead!
Okay, a pulpy sci-fi magazine is definitely better than a boring old factory. So who knows, maybe we're back on track. Good news, everybody! Too bad the level itself isn't all that inspired. In fact, if those science fiction stories were anything like this boring level that you play here, then those magazines would have been out of business after the first issue. This level is so unremarkable that it makes Blasto look good. Even the alien boss at the end is underwhelming. She has a weird watermelon head and sends out bats that look like kissy lips. You know how scary the Xenomorph is in the Alien series? Well, this is the exact opposite. Yeah, let's just end the torture and cut to the next cinema.
Okay. Here's the Space Cadet. Come on! Are we finished yet?
One more job. You gotta go get Tombstone. You'll find him there. Remember the last time Tombstone got loose?
Aye, people still wonder what happened to Atlantis.
And the Titanic. Surely that was no accident.
Turn back, pencil neck! I am all powerful! You haven't seen my abilities, and you haven't got a chance.
Ability and chance has got nothing to do with it, Bright Boy. And the name's not Pencil Neck. It's Woody! Wild Woody!
Now, at this point of the game, you're probably wondering what actor is obnoxious enough to voice Woody, Wild Woody. Well, as it turns out, the voice comes to us from Joe Kirstka, a semi-retired voice actor whose only other IMDb credit is playing Gideon in the 1995 game Black Fire, which was also developed, published, and then forgotten about by Sega. Oh, and before you ask, yes, Joe is still clinging to the Wild Woody moniker, as you can see right here from his Wild Woody for Real Twitter handle. Of course, none of this has anything to do with the story, but I would argue that checking in with Joe is a whole lot more interesting than the final level, which squanders a cool horror theme by making the pit look and feel as generic as possible. We're 6 years removed from the Sega port of Ghouls and Ghosts, yet Wild Woody's graveyard has, at most, 10% of the personality. It's probably not even that much. The same goes for the Ender Tomb, which is another boring indoor maze. And considering that we've gone from fighting a skeleton pirate to a giant statue of Zeus, I have to say that the final boss is one of the most underwhelming moments in 16-bit history. Man, the whole thing is there to make a dumb toilet joke. It's just so bad. Thankfully, we're able to erase the demon monkey, and this is what happens next. Take it away, Joe.
Cool. Man, it's good to be home.
Woody, I can't believe it! You're sharper than I thought! You did it!
Yeah, what I did was bust a gut.
Cheer up. You just saved the universe. Once you toss Tombstone on top, I'll put these bozos back on ice. But first, you deserve a reward. Anything you want, pal, you name it. You want to be king of the world? Super powerful! A rock and roll star.
Those all sound mighty tempting. But I've got a different idea.
You got it, pal. Just toss Tombstone up, and you'll get your wish.
I am all-powerful, young pencil. You shall not defeat me!
Sorry, pal, but it's game over. Woody's got the rock and time's running out. He's at the top of the key. 3, 2, 1. He shoots. It's good!
Thanks again, Woody. I'll see you next time the world needs saving.
Yeah, only if we sell a zillion units.
Now for your wish.
For as unremarkable as the rest of the game is, it's clear that a lot of time and effort went into the cinemas. Wild Woody doesn't have an especially deep story, and I kinda hate how obnoxious the character is. But you know what? I find the early CGI to be endearing. It's bad, but I kinda like it because it's bad. This is a company making an effort, which is a whole lot more than I can say about most of Sega's 16-bit endings. I mean, I complained only a few weeks ago about the lame endings that came with the Sonic the Hedgehog series. But it extends far beyond that, with games like Green Dog and the Golden Axe trilogy on Genesis. Wild Woody may not be their best ending, but hey, at least they made the effort. The truth is, this was a game that was doomed from the start. It was released in 1995, long after Sega had lost interest in their CD add-on. The developer had already been split up into two different teams, one devoted to Wild Woody, and another starting work on games for the Saturn. Even before the Sega CD's supposed swan song had been completed, the studio was beginning to evaporate, and the writing was definitely on the wall for this game. Everybody at Sega knew that this game was destined for the bargain bin. These days, there's really no reason to go back and play this game. The most amusement you're gonna get from it is watching the 6 CGI cinemas, all of which we showed here. There were no sequels, no ports, and certainly no remakes. Just like everybody else, Sega has completely forgotten about Wild Woody. Oh well, at least it gets the girl in the end, so I suppose it's not all bad. Also, before I forget, do you remember when I talked about the Wild Woody reviews at the top of this episode? Well, this is the page that I got the Electronic Gaming Monthly review from. As you can see, we've now covered both Wild Woody and Shinobi Legion in this Game Over series. You know what that means? That's right, I'm coming for you, Batman and Robin! Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Game Over, the early years. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes almost every week. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is Sega's best game character? From Alex Kidd, to Sonic, to that guy looking for sailors in Shenmue. You really do have a lot of great characters to choose from. I can't wait to see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with more reviews and features. Nope, I'm not going to get any more specific than that. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.